Well, guys, welcome. We're gonna do a little review of Blood Oath. It's gonna be pretty awesome. It's a Warhammer World exclusive, and those of you who have been to Warhammer World will recognize some of the images in this book, as it's the biggest diorama out there. First thing that I love about this is it goes into a bit of fluff. I do believe it came out before Demon King or around when Demon King came out, so it was kind of the first thing that was latching onto fluff for Khorne and Ultramarines before we started to get quite a lot of stuff for them. Another little thing is we don't find very often the Forge World fluff or Forge World stuff to combine with some of the Games Workshop stuff. In this we do, and it's pretty cool, and I hope that's an indication of future to have Forge World really to collaborate with Games Workshop. But as you can see from this picture, oh my gosh, if you're lucky enough to see this in person, it is truly one epic sight. There's so much in there, there's so much around there, it can just be so cool. But some of you who've got Angels of Death, and there's the picture for it as well on the front cover. A lot of cool stuff. I do like this shot right here of the Flesh Hounds that no one ever buys because they are too expensive. But I love this fluff. Love it so much. Love some of the Grey Knight inclusion, even though I don't like Grey Knights. Yeah, don't like Grey Knights. And just some of these pictures are beautiful. What they created here is just a beautiful storyline. And then we get on to the rules. Rules are pretty cool. There's a whole bunch of formations. The Ultra War missions, generally no one cares, but some of them are pretty interesting. Then we'll come to the formations. Here we go. So, Space Marines. This one is called the Spear of Sicarus. And something that you'll see with majority of these formations are that they are huge, because it is a huge battle, it is a huge war, it's meant for like Apocalypse. So this one, it's kind of close to a demi company, so if you can run your double demi company, you'll be able to run this, because it's got your captain, your chaplain, your command squad, 6 tacticals, 2 devastators, 2 assault squads, and then 2 dreadnoughts. So it comes quite close to a demi company. It doesn't really have great amounts of rules added to it. It's got stubborn, which is pretty cool. But the one thing that hits it really hard is if you go full drop pod army, all drop pods in this formation arrive from Deep Strike Reserve at the start of the control player's first turn. And that means the drop pods don't count to other drop pod rule in the army, so if you brought other things with drop pods in, they'll still get halved and one of the halves will come in. It does have something a little bit more added to that, is that when the drop pods come in, enemy models within 3 inches of a D6 strength 4 AP 5 hits, which are supposed to be the impact, which I think should just be on drop pods as standard, because, if a drop pod lands right next to you, you're not just going to stand there and take in all the dust out. They do have something else, which is the Tip of Spear, which is that if a unit disembarks on a drop pod, it can fire twice in the shooting phase. If it chooses not to fire, If a unit from this formation just chooses not to fire twice on the turn it disembarks on drop pod, it does not fire any rapid fire heavy weapons, it can charge in the assault phase, which can come in very handy for the likes of dreadnoughts or assault squads or even the command squad. But yeah, it's a very nice one. It's a little bit better than the demi company in my opinion, but if you go in double demi company, the free vehicles can come in such good handiness. Here we've got the Ultramarine Company. Now this one's more of your elite, but you get to choose a lot more. You get your captain, your chaplain there. You have to bring 3 Venerable Dreadnoughts, and then you take 10 squads in any combination of the normal Terminator Assault, Stern Guards, or Vanguards. Yeah, it's cool. It's just a bigger company from the normal Space Marine book, where it gives the Fear and Fearless to all the units in this formation. But for any units within 6 inches from the armies of Imperium, have the stubborn as well, which, is also handy. Basically, your guys are just never going to fail morale, which seems quite often with Space Marines, but it's not really needed because of They Shall Know No Fear. But they do get a Veteran Doctrine, which is activated when activating one of the Devastator Assault with Tactical. And you can instead reroll all failed to hit rolls in the shooting phase and assault phase of that turn. Very helpful, very interesting, but overall very useless and pathetic. Could have done more with those rules. Could have been different because the one in the Space Marine book is less units that you can be more diverse with and actually have better rules, in my opinion. So in my opinion, this one, not worth it. Don't take it. Take the smaller one. It's not a great formation. This one is. Now we're moving on to the next faction, which is the Imperial Knights. This one's probably going to be harder for people to field because not many people have a Reaver or Warlord Titan that they have to bring. The 5 Imperial Knights, generally most people will have who have Knights, will have a lot of Knights. For example, Harry in his like Megaton Legion of about 20 Knights. I think he's got 8. But he doesn't have a Reaver or Warlord, so he can't run this. And most people won't have Reavers as a Warlord. So this one kit is only to the people who've gone out and gotten them. But just bring them alone is something of a huge feat in a battle. But you get extra rules, and what are these extra rules? Well, essentially, if you're playing a mission where you've got reserves, which is generally all missions, all Imperial Knights must be held in reserve, and after the first game turn, whenever this formation's Reaver Titan does not move in the movement phase, the Imperial Knights on this formation can arrive automatically from reserves. Roll a d6. And a 1 2, they're coming from the front table edge, to the left of the controlling player. 3 or 4, they come on from the right. 5 or 6 you can choose. So basically, it's outflank. But only if the Reaver doesn't move. But then you also got Murderous Crossfire. And that's if an Imperial Knight makes a shooting attack against a target that the Battle Titan, which is either the Reaver or Warlord Titan, is shot at. The Knight's range weapons have the Ignores cover and twin linked. Now, here's the big deal about Imperial Knight armies. What they need is more of a focused fire, because their firepower is very limited. You need to look at target priority more. But bringing a Reaver or a Warlord along, you're going to have these really powerful, huge guns that is really going to make that less of a need. But so the twin linked may not be as useful, but it's still useful. The Ignores cover is where it's at. A lot of armies rely on the Ignores cover a lot, or not rely on cover saves a lot, like Tyranids, for example, Raven Wing, and it is really annoying. Raven Wing is probably one of the most frustrating armies to play against. But the Battle Cannon at Strength 8, AP 3, Ignores cover, twin linked, rapid fire, because it's on the Imperial Knights, is not something you should miss. The other one that I think would be pretty cool is probably the Avenger Gatling Cannon. Having that twin linked will help loads, but also having that Ignores cover will help loads as well, being that it's AP3 with Rendon. So there's a lot of things that can come in handy there. Even just the Melter Guns instead of the Stubbers, again, something like Wave Serpents, for example. Or those pesky Dark Eldar vehicles with their 3-up Jinx saves. Little things like that can come in handy. So honestly, even though the Reaver and Warlord are really expensive to get, if you want to run an Imperial Knight army that can really do a lot of damage and be really effective, this formation is the one for you. And now here's the one that I'm going to be sick of every single day because they're just absolutely disgusting and I don't like the look of them and absolutely awful. And I can see tears rolling down Tom's face, but he's a punk, so we don't need to talk about him. And this one's quite big. This is probably the biggest formation in terms of models in this book. But I would definitely say that in terms of points, there was other ones like the Khorne, but we'll get to that. Here you have the Brother Captain, you have a Brotherhood Champion, but then you have 3 Strike Squads, 3 Terminator Squads, 2 Interceptor Squads, 2 Purgation Squads, 4 Nemesis Dread Knights, 1 Paladin Squad, and 2 Purifier Squads. In other words, you will have a horde of Grey Knights. A horde of Grey Knights.
You mean the entire chapter?
Yes. But they have something called Divine Intervention, Psychic Strike Force, and Rites of Banishment.
If you notice as well, under restrictions, all the squads have to be 10 models as well.
Thank you, Tom. All models have to be 10.
So it's a lot of points.
So it's a lot of points.
A lot of points.
Yeah.
Isn't that also about 8 times the size of your current army?
What, for one squad? Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, this is actually quite interesting because we're all kind of going through this at the same time.
136 minimum models.
But you've got to bear in mind there's only 1,000 Grey Knights in total at any time. Anyway, so it's like literally a minimum of just over 1/10 of the chapter.
It's more than a company.
Yeah, but there's a smaller version of this in the Codex as well.
In all honesty, though, it's a really risky formation. Because it all has to start in reserve, and it all is done in a single reserve roll that you can re-roll. Now, obviously, whoa, obviously, that's pretty cool because it's first turn. You roll for it in first turn, but if you're like Harry and have really bad dice,
It's just a good job Drago's not in the formation.
yeah, if you roll a 1 and you re-roll for the 1, and because it's so many points, I doubt you'll have anything else.
Tom will have assassins.
Tom will have assassins, but with that many points in a formation, will those 2 assassins live against a similar size army? No.
Well enough.
But it is a reroll, and if 1 comes on, they all come on. So it's that sort of risk, but you've got the reserve manipulation there. Just you need to find a way to make it a 2+ rerollable, because.
Well, saying that you could take the assassin when you get +1 your reserve.
Yep, you could take the assassin, but in all honesty, wow, that's a lot. But they have 2 other ones, which is that the brother captain, whilst he's alive, all units in his formation harness swap charge points on 3+ when taking psychic tests, which is phenomenal as well.
That's massive. That's a 33% increase.
Then we get we find out that they really do love killing demons. They've got the preferred enemy, but enemy units with a demon special roll that are within 6 inches of any units from this formation count the invulnerable saves as being 1 point worse than normal. This is cumulative with any other modifiers such as banishment.
So if basically you just get rid of demon invulnerable saves, then you get near them.
Well, it's an interesting fact because you're always going to be within 6 inches of them when you're in combat.
Yeah.
So it's just a little buff that's going to be absolutely insane for the likes of Tzeentch armies, because you're just cancelling out their Tzeentch special rule essentially, apart from the reroll ones. But you basically minus.
Well, yeah, you re-roll 2 and nothing.
Yeah, but you've got things like Khorne, because Nurgle relies on cover saves and slashers going at a really high initiative, and Tzeentch have that reroll of the 1s. I think Khorne's going to come in really bad effect. But guess what? They face Khorne in this. So, oh no.
Wait. Before we move on though, I challenged Tom to build that formation.
Yeah, because 7th edition's going. That's going to be helpful.
At least I only get 1 more Dread Knight.
Yeah.
To be fair,
it's a good formation.
but
it's a lot of points.
I've got the Interceptors. I've got 1 Terminator squad there, but I've got like another 20 to build. So I've got the Terminator squad. So I need to get a 10-man Paladin squad. That's horrible. That's like nearly 500 points in itself. Just for the guys.
I think the worst thing is I've never heard of a Purgation squad.
A Purgation squad.
Squad.
Devastator.
It's like Devastators, so it's like 4 Incinerators or 4 Psychons.
You have 40 of these, 20 of these
just
guys.
Strike squad models.
So, awesome little Grey Knight thing there, but no one's ever run it in their lives, and if you have, I will personally.
If anyone has actually ran this, please comment below. I'm interested to know.
So now we get on to the Khorne. Something that's really awesome is the Bloodied Horde, and
notice how they come after the Grey Knights.
I don't understand your point here, Tom.
Yeah, because the Grey Knights turn up first, then the Khorne arrives and kills them.
No.
Yeah. So the Bloody Horde is 8 units of Bloodletters, 2 units of Blood Crushers, and 2 Skull Cannons, and they must have Khorne Demon King faction.
How many Bloodletters do I have, Phil?
Unsure. From this point, it's still counting upwards. Like if you drop 1 to the floor, it'd be like Steve Jobs when he makes money. Like if you drop 1 to the floor, you've already made it back.
No,
Harry's Bloodletters are like the
pink horrors, he drops one and they just turn it to 2.
But it's very interesting. So I actually thought all Khorne stuff had rage.
I think Demon, Chaos Space Marines with a Mark of Khorne get Rage and Furious Charge.
These are demons. All demons.
Yeah.
So they all get rage.
I can't remember which way around it is in Demon. One gets Furious Charge, one gets Rage.
So these all have rage, so it doesn't matter, because they'll get both if you take the minus. I actually think Harry can run this.
What is it again?
8 units of blood letters, 2 units of blood crushers, and 2 skull cannons.
I've got 3 skull cannons, I've got 9 blood crushers, and
Yeah.
I've got 140 blood letters.
You can run this, Harry.
Well, I can't, because...
And how similar is it to the fact that you got to take a lot of blood letters? It's very similar to Sigmar.
Yeah.
Yeah, very similar.
Yeah.
But rage is a very helpful one in itself, but then you get 2 other things, which I don't think is going to play to Harry's style. So the first one is they must all be in Deep Strike Reserve, even if the mission does not normally allow it. And when making a reserve roll, you have to make a single reserve roll, which you could re-roll.
Wait. Tom's giant force of Grey Knight versus my giant force of Khorne. We both fail the re-roll for the reserves.
And end of the game. Well done for showing it. But
World's shortest, actually, it wouldn't be the world's shortest.
the biggest thing about this, though, is every time the blood letters and blood crushers from this formation is destroyed on a 4+, you put them in your ongoing reserves.
Nice. And notice it says 8 units, so it could be a unit. Can you go?
No, it's 8 units. There's no more.
Yeah. How many can be in a unit in 40k?
20.
Ah.
I'm sure it's 20. I don't think it's 30. Interesting. It's kind of like the Tyranid ones from the Tyranid books, where the gargoyles can come back.
Or the Under Swarm.
But they also get these other buff rules, which I think are pretty helpful. It's nice that not all these formations are huge in points, because that's probably durable by every Khorne player.
Apart from Tom's.
Yeah. What you mean, like every other Grey Knight formation, which nobody uses?
This one is actually used by Lawrence from Tabletop Tactics with his Khorne, which is the Fist of Khorne. And this is a unit of Berserkers, which have to be 20 man, and the Chaos Charybdis Assault Claw.
Say that again?
The Chaos Charybdis Assault Claw.
Come again?
The Chaos... You're doing this on purpose. Now, interesting thing about this, I see it all the time with Lawrence's Khorne Demon King. See, in my opinion, I'm not too fond of it. I don't like Berserkers for a start. I don't like Khorne on top of that, and I don't like the Assault Claw. So it's not him taking it in the rules. It's the look of all the models, how they play, and the fluff. I just completely despise it. So it doesn't appeal to me, but it is really, really good. So the Assault Claw, Tom, do you know what an Assault Claw is?
Horrible.
Yeah, it's the gigantic Chaos drop pod.
Yeah, the one that takes off again and runs around.
Oh yeah, really, really good. And if it lands on an enemy vehicle or building when it arrives from Deep Strike, you don't roll on the mishap table. Instead, each vehicle or building suffers a single Strength D AP1 hit. Now, before we saw the drop pods that do damage, that should do that damage anyway, the Strength D, that's a little bit
Isn't
insane.
it massive as well?
Oh yeah, it's probably if you look at the Charybdis Assault Claw and you consider the Charybdis Assault Claw.
What was that?
You can just shut your mouths, right? If you think of it as a Space Marine, then the drop pods are squat. In terms of size. Well, actually, you could probably describe it in 8th edition. Consider the Assault Claw Primaris Space Marine, and then the drop pod, the regular Space Marines. But Strength D is really good. Only thing is, I believe it's got inertial guidance. If it doesn't, then shit. But it's definitely interesting. But it does suffer a mobilized result if it does that. So there's negatives, and but there's negatives and there's positives about it. Strength D is always something really good. I'm glad it's going in the new edition. But the Berserkers must begin embarked in the Assault Claw, and they can charge as well. So 20-man unit Berserkers is a lot of attacks. Especially if you start putting your plasma pistols in there as well, do some damage like that. Or you get the leader to relic of the axe of corn, or even a power fist. Things start to get a little bit shaky, but that's them. That was stuck together there. Harry must have licked these pages because they are full of cheese, and he loves cheese. So right here was probably one that I think Harry was building towards, but I don't think he's going to get to play unless we go back and play 7th, which is the Hellforged Hunting Pack, because Harry does have a greater brass scorpion of corn, and I can't wait to kill it.
I've got dibs on killing it first, though.
And then you've got 8 models chosen in any confirmation from the following list below. These are just all demon engines, so you got your Defiler, Helldrake, Forge Fiend, Mauler Fiend, Soul Grinder, Bloodslaughter of Corn, and Chaos Decimated Demon Engine.
Unfortunately, I've only got 6.
He's only got 6 people, which means he should have bought the other 2 4-drilled ones.
Corn despises me because he dislikes 6 and likes 8.
No,
So-
it's because you use Tigers with your corn.
So they all get demon...
Only against Tom.
Oh my goodness, there's a war going on right now.
He uses Sanctic Psychus with his corn.
What are you talking about? That's entirely fluffy.
Alright, yeah, so they all get Demon of Corn, which is a 5-up invul, which I'm sure they've all got.
Demon of Corn's Rage or Furious Charge.
I think it's Furious Charge, otherwise I wouldn't have put Rage in with other demons. So I do think that it's well, as an example, they get Demon of Corn and Rage, so they're going to have Rage and Furious Charge. I don't know whether Fuse Charge is useful, because I don't think many of these things are probably all strength 10 in combat, so I don't think that's useful, but Rage is definitely useful. And then you got, if the Brass Scorpion makes a successful charge, all models in the formation can reroll their subsequent failed charge rolls in the same assault phase.
Bearing in mind the Brass Scorpion rolls 3 dice to charge.
Yeah, so very helpful there. And each time a model from this formation is completely destroyed, all other models in this formation gain 1 extra attack.
So if all of them are destroyed apart from the Brass Scorpion, that means the Brass Scorpion has got whatever its normal attacks are, plus 8.
And then plus 2 for Rage
Yeah.
on the charge. So plus 10 if everything's dead on the charge. Interesting. Definitely a lot of points, I would say, but not as much as the Grey Knight ones.
I think a lot of people run that competitively with Mauler Fiends.
Well, look, right. The Mauler Fiends are going to be better, but it's the fact that when a Mauler Fiend suffers a mobilized assault, it's just literally just like...
How many times has that happened to me?
So many times.
Every time.
I think one of the better ones might be Soul Grinders and Defilers. Maybe with a few Helldrakes in there. Forge Fiends I flipping love because I love Daka. So the other one though, Harry, I think was close as well, which is the Gorguard. Interesting thing is the first formation, apart from the Criminus Assault Claw, and well, basically this whole book. I'm gonna punch you, Tom. Basically, the whole book has added Forge World units in, so the Reaver, Warlord Titan, the Charybdis Assault Claw. Shut the fuck up, Tom, because I'll slap you. I will slap you.
I'm actually going to say the Grey Knight one doesn't.
The Brass Scorpion. So there is quite a few of them that add Forge World models in, which this is the only time we see it happen. So that's interesting. But this has got Angrath, which is the giant named character for Khorne. But then it's got 8 Bloodthirsters chosen in any combinations. How many Bloodthirsters have you got, Harry, including Scarbrand?
1, 2, 3, 5.
You're 3 away, Harry. So you can have any one of the 3 chosen in any combination. They all get Feel No Pain.
That's very handy because they need it.
They all get Rampage.
Yeah.
If they're within 18 inches of Angrath, they get Adamantium Wheel, a counter attack, and an extra attack. And if enemy units failed a morale test caused by models from this formation, suffer 1 wound for each point the test was failed by, with no saves or any kind allowed.
That's fair.
You normally forget all your fear, or you come across fearless.
Fair was your word for that.
Or you come across fearless, fear, stubborn. You know, so it's not much of a big difference.
No,
but it's
which is a good thing about 8, because apparently not many things are going to be immune to leadership tests.
That's right, and that's it. Beautiful, beautiful picture to end it all off with the Grey Knights. I do believe the Grey Knights died. Every last one of them.
Wish.
Angrath died.
Yep.
It was something along the lines of this.
Angrath never dies. He's just missing in battle. But I want to see more Forge World.
This is a good book. It's nice to pick up.
I want to see more, like some Tyranid ones, please. Thank you so much. But like maybe the Fall of Baal, because Baal's screwed right now.
Is it now?
Yeah, it's definitely screwed.
Okay, we will see.
But really good book. They went in a good direction with this. They should have kept going.
Maybe they will.
Maybe they will.
Especially because Forge World have announced that they are releasing the rules for 8th edition for all of their models at the same time.
I think what's better is if they chose some of the other larger dioramas and made books, because this was made from the diorama that was already at Forge World in the exhibition. If they made one, for example, the Tau and Admech one,
which apparently is the next Imperial armor.
If they made the Tau and Admech one, or even if they dipped their toes in Sigmar and made that Stormcast Khorne one.
What you mean?
Oh!
You mean this one?
But maybe even if they went with the Iandan one, which is the Eldar Tyranids.
Yep.
It would be really cool. Maybe even the Guard one, when they had all that big diorama with them all marching out the gate. And I know they're not facing anything, but just...
What, Cadia blows up again?
Yeah!
Boom!
That's what's going to happen to Baal. Creed's going to turn up and blow the planet up.
You wish.
Yeah, I do.
But yeah, thanks for watching. Definitely recommend you picking it up if you can. If you can't, message over some lovely English fellows to pick you on up and deliver it, post it for you. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Peace out! Nah, joke. You can cut that one out. You can cut that one out.